Hi, it's Marsha. Welcome to Midnight in the Marshaverse.
From the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Midnight in the Marshaverse, starring Marsha Warfield and her two sons, Stephen Roberts and Skillz Hudson, as the problem child.
So, welcome to Midnight in the Marshaverse. This is when we get together once a week and chill. As my goal in life is to help America chill because we get too freaking excited and we don't listen and communicate and a lot of stuff gets lost. So, this is a magic time of day. This is that point between yesterday and tomorrow, and it's still today. It's midnight and it's the witching hour. We like to start. I like to start. I don't know what you like to start with. I like to start with some refreshments, adult refreshments, because this is grown folks' time. And so this is a grown folks show. So we're going to do grown folks stuff. And one of the things we like to do is have a little cannabis and cognac. Get you in the mood, get you to that yeah moment. So the cannabis we're having today is a little cute little disposable, endo disposable. This is a, silver, super silver haze. And, you just put it in your pocket and your hand, and take your little hit, put it aside. Nobody's the wiser. And we also have in the glass my wife makes me drink from because she said she was tired of red cups and whatnot. Now, we do have nice stuff. So, in that glass, we're going to have a little douce, the, uh, the official drink of hip hop. I don't know. Here you go. Here's to you. Here's to a good show. Here's to a good life. Here's to lots of sex. Okay, we're ready. Now that we've had a little grease for our gears, last week we talked about the Met Gala and how at the Met Gala they were celebrating black dandies, but they seem to start their history in uh, in the Harlem Renaissance. But dandies had been part of minstrelsy, and I went into that and talked. We talked about that, and I like to be stylish, but I'm not really fashion oriented. So it's ironic that the first thing I want to talk about is fashion. Because I was scrolling on TikTok and I happened to see this woman talking about these gowns that were just mind blowing. And I didn't know what the occasion was or anything. And as she was describing it, said it was from Nigeria and it was the African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards, which I guess is kind of like a People's Choice Award here, but it's very elegant and high fashion and just a formal affair. And these gowns that she was showing were freaking amazing. They were like I said, I don't usually get into red carpet stuff, but this was just gorgeous. And the theme was um, Mother Nature. And these gowns managed to capture some aspect of Mother Nature in such a reverent and beautiful way. It was stunning. And as I watched, because I had to work today, so I didn't have enough time to just luxuriate in this wonderfulness. But they had men's fashions, and I thought it was an interesting juxtaposition of how Black people do style, fashion, glamour in that area, in that upper ghetto uh, atmosphere, as opposed to how like the Met Gala, which was featured black people, but not necessarily black designers. It wouldn't be called a black event. And I was just viscerally drawn to the Nigerian fashions and the statement they made. These women look like Mother Earth. They looked like the goddesses that I worship in the Church of Jesus. They looked like royalty. And there was one outfit that just took my breath away. This woman was stunning. I mean, there were so many, but there was one woman, she was in all gold and then she had a big crown. And when you looked, the whole thing was made of safety pins and they look like jewels. It looks like I don't know, it's just the workmanship, the design, the effect, everything was just breathtaking. And so when my sons and my guests come out, we got a wonderful guest. You're gonna really enjoy meeting and talking to her. I'm so happy she's here. Roz Ryan. So we let it out the bag. But look forward to that. We're gonna get to her in just a minute. And I want to talk to them about their impressions of this. It's like discovering, and it feels weird to be discovering this event, which obviously has been going on a while, which obviously is a very high fashion, sophisticated uh, thing. But for us to just be discovering it, or for me to just be discovering it, feels wrong. It feels like I should have known about this from Jump Street. And if I had to go somewhere, I would want any one of the designers I saw to make me anything if they would, because they just there was a woman looked like an electric tree. Why not? That's just amazing. Her hair, her whole thing. Anyway, so if you get a chance, check that out, and we're going to be probably revisiting this and similar topics because uh, the history of Black people worldwide has not only not really been told, but it just doesn't expand into all different kinds of aspects of our lives. And so to learn more and more and share is critically important nowadays, especially when they're, trying to take Black people out the African American History Museum. I mean, how the hell are you going to take Black people out the African American History Museum? That's just crazy. And they're trying to erase us out of all kind of stuff. So I'm going to be painting my canvas with as much information as I can find. One of the things I like to do is I love social media, and I like to go through social media and see what people are talking about. They fascinate me. And as you know, I have founded the Warfield School of Comedy at MFU, and our School of Sheology is where we learn about the Church of Jesus and our ministry. Okay, but I like to find women's words to live by that inspire us, that speak to the nature of the essence of why we worship the life givers and their wisdom. I want you to take a look at this video I found, I think, on Instagram. Take a look.
One thing about me, I'm gonna let that coochie breathe. Two things about me, I'm gonna let that coochie breathe. A breath. Take a breath, mama. Take a breath. Ain't nobody got time. You sitting here funky coochied out just because you want to wear tight pants and leggings and Lulu fucking lemon all goddamn day. Fuck Lulu and fuck lemon. Go ahead and get you a little cloth. Okay? Go ahead and look like a little spiritual hoe real quick. Get you a little cloth. Put a dot in the middle of your forehead and open up them legs and let that coochie breathe. Get into a little squat. Come on, let's do it. Get into a little squat, ho. You see that? You're already looking real spiritual around this bitch. Get into a little squat and let her breathe. Let her go.
Okay, y'all, she's saying you got to air out your coochie and let it breathe. So, all right. So I think those are words we really need to keep in mind. Let it breathe, let it breathe. So another thing I was doing on the internet, most of the things I do on the internet, I can tell you about. Some of the stuff I do ain't none of your business. But this one was, I saw a video about how Native American children were kidnapped and given up for adoption to white families, specifically for them to civilize the children. So they would embark on this campaign of forced assimilation where they didn't let them see their families, speak their language, uh, uh, talk about any of their customs. They had to basically become um, John and Jane White. And it boggles my mind what kind of people think that makes sense. Why would you want to do that to anybody? Why wouldn't you want to know what they know? Why wouldn't you want to hear about their customs and traditions and learn the things they have to share and teach us? It's just amazing that this is the mindset of a lot of people. And it's not just Native children who have suffered, and it's not just children. A lot of the black codes and Jim Crow laws forced black people to assimilate. And I know a lot of young people are upset about integration. And I think that's kind of misplaced. Integration and getting along with people, it doesn't mean you're going to move in their house and or anything too serious. It just means we all live together and it ain't no big deal. But assimilation is the problem. We all don't want to be like what we see of other people. I don't want to be competitive and in conflict all the time and want to be the number one and own everything. I think most Americans want to have enough, and we'd be fine. We don't. Who wants the headache of running the world and hoarding all the money? That's just a lot of people who can be mad at you at one time. Those kinds of goals, those kinds of attitudes that we've all been asked to assimilate to through our schooling and through our just indoctrination. Put your hand over the heart and pledge allegiance to the almighty dollar any way you can get one by gunpoint. I mean, it's just wrong. And it's wrong because we could do so much better. I'm amazed by the people that I meet here, people who are American citizens, people who love this country, people who have families and history and roots, and their stories that are left out of the big book of American stories are fascinating and valuable, and they make more sense than just everybody fighting all the time over, well, just to keep basically white people from trying to tell everybody what to do. So it's like, why don't we all just appreciate these wonderful stories these native children could have grown up to tell us, and now the stories they have to tell us are horror stories when they could have told us all the wonderful things that they grew up knowing in their histories. And so let's all, stop being assholes. It's really simple. Let's just start thinking about the other people as people, and that's all. And accept them for who they are and how they treat you. And first, you have to learn the history. And second, you have to put it in context, and then use what you need and let the rest of it go back into the dustbins. So that's what we're all about. We are about everybody being who they are, contributing what they have to give. Because let me tell you something about this business before I introduce my guest. Let me tell you something about show business. Nobody asks you to do this. Nobody drafts you into this business. You have to come to this on your own. And if this is what's on your heart, if this is what you find yourself compelled to do, embrace that, accept that. That is your blueprint for the rest of your life. And if you follow that, you will never fail. You might not move as fast as you want to. You might not go the way you think you want to go. But if you follow that spark that makes you want to do this, have to do this, trust that. That's your message for your life. So, right now, I want to introduce my friend. We've hung out here and, but we get busy and she's such a globetrotter. I can never catch up with her. So for her to be available to stop here tonight at this midnight hour, we are very fortunate. And I know you're going to love her and enjoy her and say hello to my friend, Roz Ryan.
Hey,
Hey, what you drinking?
adult beverage.
Okay.
I can
Hello,
get it.
Adele.
There they go. Okay. I just
All
thought I'd join in the festivities.
All right. Well, here's to you, to me,
Baby.
and a wonderful show.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, what I do? What I say?
Um, living life, just what you were talking about. It was so just living life and life and letting life
Yes.
and hoping it
How did
continues to
life
life.
get you into show business? How did your life get you into show business?
I was 14. My Aunt Lois had a cocktail party for her bougie friends, and
Okay.
she wanted me to come and serve. So I went over to my Aunt Lois's house and I was in the kitchen and I was singing. And I went in the room and she said, "Would you sing for the ladies?" And I'm like, "Sure," because I'm a Motown baby. I came up in Detroit. And I started singing and they started giving me money. And I said, "Hold on a minute now. Look here, I can hold on.
Hold
I
on.
can get paid for this.
Okay.
Hold on." So at 17, I entered the WCHB talent show at the Fox Theater with my two
Okay.
cousins, Tony and Zeta, and we won. And I got a manager, Eli Fontaine, who was also called the Golden Horn at Motown. And I started working in the 20 Grand Driftwood Lounge when I was 17.
Okay.
It was different back then, though. It was
I
safe.
understand.
It was different back then. And then I just worked the clubs and the rest is
What year
mystery.
was this?
This was 69, 70.
Okay. Had they made the drinking age 18 yet?
No, but they told me that I could go from the dressing room to the stage, from the stage to the dressing room. That lasted for about a year.
Okay.
So at about 17, 18, I had my first beef eaters on the rocks.
All right. Yeah, well, I was 14 then, but when I started,
Mhm.
they had changed the drinking age to 18, so I could get in
Mhm.
bars when I was 15,
Mhm.
because all you needed was a high school ID and then your thumb
Right,
over the thing, and if it was
right,
that kind of bar, they let you in,
right.
and so I had been going to bars for years and years. But
I'm
when
glad I had a gig. I couldn't even go to.
you once you started,
Mhm.
where did it take you, and how did you know you wanted to go there?
Because it came, I would say it came so natural. It felt like just a part of me. And when I started working in the clubs, everything just kind of fell into place. I remember at one point I opened for Arthur Prysock, and the
Okay.
following week I opened for the Funkadelics. So I'm like, okay, that is your lesson in versatility. Now
Okay.
you can sing some
Oh,
different stuff. But
all
it
right.
was just natural and it just kept flowing and flowing. And I worked the clubs for almost 11 years. And then at one point, a friend of mine told me they were holding auditions for Ain't Misbehaving on Broadway. And I was hanging out a little hard and doing some stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And I went to the audition and said, y'all got to get me out of here because I'm finna be in trouble. And I
Okay.
got the gig and I went to Broadway.
Well, all right. That sounds pretty interesting.
It's so I call it my Cinderella slipper. It
But
just
now, where you from Detroit?
yes.
And this might
Still
sound
got my
strange,
place.
but being from Chicago, I know
Yeah,
dreams are not necessarily encouraged all the time. That when you have dreams,
yeah.
a lot of times you are told that you need to be more practical, you need to have something to fall back on, you need to have a
Uh,
get married and all that kind of stuff and get a job. And did
no,
you have that kind of pressure?
no,
I'm
I'm the
lucky.
youngest of four.
Okay.
And by the time they got to me, I think they were done. So the fact that I wanted to do this for the first 2 years, my father drove me everywhere from club to club. He would take me, drop me off. I'd do my show. He'd pick me up, bring me back home. And then at one point, he started dropping me off at the after hour joints because, we go do the jam sessions. And
Okay.
then after a while, I started working with a group called Jake Wade and the Soul Searchers, which was turned into a group called Riot. And Jake Wade would pick me up, and Orthea Barnes would pick me up. I didn't learn how to drive till I was 22
Okay. I was
because everybody
25.
picked me up.
I was
I was the
25.
baby.
So I know
25,
that
really?
feeling. Yeah. Well, in
Yeah,
Chicago, you didn't have to
22.
know how to drive. There's transportation.
No.
So I didn't have to know.
Well,
And when I
I
started
had,
working in clubs, the comics, a lot of them would Tom Drees, Bill Miller, Brad Sanders, and others would
they
take me
picked me
home.
up. Yeah, they
So
picked me up.
I only had to worry about getting there.
Yeah.
How'd you get into television?
Wow. That is I was doing Dreamgirls on Broadway. And there was an audition for JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. And I went before Reuben Cannon. And Reuben said, you're too young, but I'm going to get something for you. He called me again, and I had moved to Florida because I got married. That's a whole nother bag of worms. I had gotten married, and I moved to Florida, and I went back to New York, and Reuben said, I got a TV show. Can you come? I went before him, read, went back home, and he said, can you come back? Ed Weinberger's going to come in. And I said, sure. So I went back, I auditioned for Ed Weinberger, and they sent me to California. And that was also the end of my marriage.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. Well,
because
then was
I
that
chose,
a lifeline, or did they throw you a lifeline as far as the marriage was
I
concerned?
didn't recognize it as a lifeline, but yes, I didn't
Okay,
recognize it that what it was, but yes, it was. It
okay.
was
So now
because I was dedicated to what I was doing.
once you had that behind you and realized, phew,
Uh-huh.
now you're in a whole place you've
Uh-huh.
never been before, and you got a new job. How
The
did
weirdest thing is I told my mother, I said, now I'm a singer. I'm a nightclub singer from Detroit. That's why I came up. I had never acted in my life except what I did on Broadway, but I always had the music just in case the other stuff wasn't working. I told my mom, I said, they didn't hire me as a singer. They hired me as an actress. And she kind of laughed and said, well, maybe they see something in you that you don't know you got. And the first time I did the pilot, Sherman Hemsley came over to me and he said, you're a natural. And I said, okay, I'm not quite sure what that means, but okay.
it means relax and do it? I had the similar experience. I'm a stand-up.
Yeah,
I know nothing about
yeah,
acting. They
but you
sent me
do.
out on stuff, and so I just, the advice I gave from other people who didn't know what they were doing was
Right.
just trust your instincts,
And
and
do what
they
you do.
told me to do what little kids do. And
Yeah.
somebody said, if you tell little kids, you say, you be Batman and you be the chief of police, They don't go, okay, well, what am I wearing? What is my
What is my motivation?
motivation? They go right into, I am Superman. And you're
Why are
like,
you
no, you're
doing
not. You better get off there. And they go right into character and they say, if
Yeah,
you can do that,
yeah.
you'll be okay. So
It was refreshing. We did 5 years on Amen. And then I did another show with Ed Weinberger, who I'm still very close to this day. That is a 40-year friendship with him and his wife. That when I got ill at one point, and his wife Carlene was sending food over to my house every weekend. And I'm like, Car, stop. First of all, I can't eat that much. And she would say, what country would you like today? And she would send Indian food and Greek food. And it was ridiculous. And finally, I just had to stop her. But we've been friends for 40 years.
that's good to
That's a
hear,
long,
you know.
yeah, it's good friendship.
Yeah. So
Friendship.
Anna was here last week.
That's my friend girl.
Yeah, that's that's my sister girl. She said everybody thinks she's me. And
What?
yeah, thinks she's me. I ain't mad at her.
Don't be
And
mad.
when I put the her history of working on Soul
Uh-huh.
online, the young people ate it up. They loved it. They loved that having
Yeah.
that
I'm
knowledge of that
still to
background.
this day, she's still a workhorse.
Yeah,
She's still working good
and
too.
y'all,
Constant.
everybody still looks good. Now I worked with Sherman once on the Good Show, whatever that was. He did where he was name was Good. He came after Amen and those, and he was wonderful to work with. What was it like when you worked with him? What was that? I mean, because wait a minute, Clifton Davis.
Duncan. Oh, he gonna kill me for that.
What'd
That's
you
his middle
call?
name. I call him Duncan. That's his
Oh,
middle name.
but that's the prettiest man I've ever seen up close.
He's absolutely gorgeous inside.
Yes,
Clifton and I are very close to this day. Clifton and Anna are very close. Um, Clifton Clifton talked to me through my divorce. He loved me as a sister through my divorce, and it was one of the most beautiful things. And to this very day, I just adore him. I
yes.
absolutely adore him.
I
And
haven't
he
heard
is
anybody
beautiful.
say anything otherwise.
He's
He's
still fine.
yes, he is.
He's on a
I
new
saw
show,
it
Behind the Gate.
sitcom. I mean, that's sitcom
No,
soap opera.
soap opera, Behind the
Yeah.
Gates.
Okay. Yeah. He's still like you said, but
No, he's still fine.
I start when I first saw him. Never Can Say Goodbye.
Oh
And
yeah,
he and Melba Moore had that summer replacement show,
right.
and everybody was in love with him. Then he got That's My Mama. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I did the Richard Pryor show, and I'm walking onto the set at NBC, I don't know my way around nothing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
23, stupid. And I walked in and was about to go into the studio where they told me to go. And Richard Pryor was standing there, and right here was Clifton Davis. And I looked up and went, he just had the prettiest brown
Yeah.
eyes and just beautiful skin. He's just a gorgeous man. And like you said, he was always very nice. He just burst into a smile and said hello. I mean, it was just a magic
He's
moment
one of those
for
guys that
a young
he loves,
girl.
appreciates women. He really
Yeah,
does. He's
it's
caring.
really rare to meet men who love women for who we are and not who they
Yeah,
want us to be.
yeah.
Uh, and my sons are those kind of men. I
Yeah.
have a lot of sons. I believe the world needs to be mothered. And I
Absolutely.
think that's what's missing now in the conversation. We get all this extreme macho dad discipline kind of mentality, and we really need somebody to say, "Okay, honey, that's enough. Come here and talk to
Because that
mama."
ruins our men. That ruins our men. You have to be able to, to cry, to feel, to share emotion, especially at a time like this. This is a time
Yeah.
when Stephen was saying, we all need to just grab that blanket and wrap it around everybody and just hold everybody you can.
Okay. Did you see the Met Gala?
Yes, I did.
What do you think?
I thought Diana Ross shut it down.
Okay. Well, don't she always? Ain't that her job?
What she did, baby. Do you know the train was forever, forever long? But do you know what was on the train?
No.
And Swarovski crystals was the names of her children and her grandchildren
No.
on the train.
Oh,
She
that's
said, that's
very
my Detroit home. She shut it down. I
okay.
thought it was beautiful. I thought it was really beautiful. I thought I was really, Anna Wintour, I was very happy with her. I was happy with her doing that the way that she chose to do it this year. And I was happy with the exclusion too. It's glory, hallelujah.
Okay. Well, have you done the Met Gala?
Oh no, darling. No. I'm
No,
not
you're not
a kind of girl. I'm not her.
you're not a fashionista?
No, well, I'll take it off
I
and put it
thought you
on.
were.
But no, I'm not a red carpet girl. I
Ah.
believe too, because the status that I've had in this industry, I have been totem poled to where I've been standing at a red carpet, especially in LA. In New York, not so much. They're pretty good to me in New York. But in LA, I've been standing on a red carpet and I've been told, excuse me, a talent coming through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't play with y'all. Okay, I ain't playing with y'all because I can
All
always
right.
go back to New York. So I
Yeah,
don't
well,
deal
it
with it.
can be uncomfortable. And I always prefer
Yeah,
to sneak in the back
me
myself.
too. And I don't want to be
But
uncomfortable. I'm not going to help you make me uncomfortable.
yeah, well, nowadays I'm a little more comfortable than I used to was. But then back then I was in the closet. And so
Uh,
anything public was, uncomfortable. You
right.
never know how to navigate through and maintain.
Yeah.
So, but now everything's out, like you said, in the open.
I don't even go out much anymore. I think because I came up in the clubs, I've done Broadway. I did Broadway for 42 years. I
Okay.
got a anniversary card from Actors Equity that said happy anniversary. What?
What's your favorite Broadway experience?
I would have to say Dreamgirls. I would have to say Dreamgirls because it took me away from what I thought was my limit. It made me rise to the show as opposed to me just getting up and singing what I know. I had to take another step because and I told Jennifer Holliday one day, I said, when I get through, I'm going to beat you up because you created this song that
Yes.
it was difficult. It was absolutely difficult. But I think that would be my best experience on Broadway because I had to grow. I was forced.
Yeah. Well,
I was
I'm sure that you were more than ready for the challenge, whether you knew it or not. What's
well.
what what are you doing now, and what would you like to do if you could do whatever you wanted to do?
Well, at this stage of my life, I am at a point where I am able to do, which is be a vagabond. I am packing up my house. I am giving up my route, and I am going to travel for a couple of years and just enjoy a lot of places that I've been that I had to work when I was there. And I want to go there without having to work so that I can embrace some of those beautiful places. So I want
Ooh,
to travel.
like where?
Dubai,
Mhm.
Australia, some of the places that I still have friends too. I still have people there. And I really just want to go back and hang out. Dubai, Australia, nothing in, I'm not going to say that. That's not nice. There's some places I don't want to go back.
Name one. Come on.
Germany,
Okay. Don't like schnitzel?
Germany. That's one no, they didn't like schnitzel.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
didn't
Well,
like my schnitzel.
they didn't like you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting trip. Interesting trip. But there's just some beautiful places that I've seen. I want to go back to Israel. We did Ain't Misbehaving in Israel. It
Okay.
was absolutely awesome. It was really awesome. So some of these places, I just want to go back and just hang out and just swim with some turtles and dolphins and just hang out.
I am sure
I'm getting
that
a
will
house in
be
Brazil.
wonderful, and you more than deserve to do whatever the hell you want to do. And I
Yeah.
am so grateful you're here. And I remember when we went out and hung out, when you came to the Strat, to
The
the LA
Sphere.
Comedy
We were
Club.
talking about that the other night. Me and Corey. Corey was with me. And I said,
Yeah.
you remember that night that we went out with Marsha and we went to that fabulous restaurant? And didn't we
Yeah,
go
we went
see
to,
Absinthe or Opie?
yes, I
Absinthe.
think we did. Absinthe. That's
Yes.
Stephen
Yes.
hooked that up. My son, I'm getting ready to introduce. But yes, we had a ball. We went to
We had a
Hash
night.
House.
Yeah, we
Hash
had
House
a
at
night.
Go-Go. Yeah, we had a ball, and we got to do that again sometime. Will you sit here for a minute with me while I introduce
Absolutely.
my sons, and you can say hello because they love you
Absolutely.
and have all kind
I
of
love
questions. So let's start
Okay.
with the one you met, my oldest son, the one who looks just like me, and he is not just he's producing this show. He produces my one woman stand up show. He's become more than a friend and a comedian. He's my number one
Yes.
son. Say hello. First, you're gonna play a little something so introductory uh, moment, but say
Okay.
hello to my son, Stephen Roberts.
Can you hear that? What's the point of that? Why does it have to be that loud? Yes, enjoy your music while you're painting your house or washing your car or whatever. Enjoy your music. Maybe on headphones? Maybe a little lower? Why? Why does it have to be this loud? Why do we all have to hear your music in the neighborhood? Why? Why? Or at least you could play music I like. I mean, how about that? Hi, Roz.
Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you. What you guys were talking about that night that we had so much fun, that was 7 years ago.
Time flies when you're getting old.
Did
It
Marsha
really
tell
does.
you that I came to the Stratosphere like 5 hours prior to your gig? I thought it was at a certain time. And I'm
Oh,
sitting down there gambling and I'm out on the phone. I'm like, I'm down here. What are you doing? She said, what time was the show? Like 10 o'clock?
yeah.
I think I
Well,
thought
it
it
was
was
a
7.
late show.
No, it was
I had a late show then, but we did hang out. We had a lot of fun.
that's all right. I said
Every
we had a lot of fun.
I just want to tell the people, imagine we're in Marsha's car. Marsha's driving.
In her
Roz
Mercedes.
is sitting shotgun. I'm in the back in the middle, and we are just cutting up as we drive through Las Vegas
I
and make a
know.
on
little
the
stop
boulevard.
here. And then what did you say?
I just said on the boulevard. We're driving
On the
Las
boulevard.
Vegas Boulevard.
And
Oh my
she
God!
was wheeling, she pulling in here. We're going to the restaurant. Pull in here. We're going to the show. Pull in here. Let's go over here. What they doing over
Had a
there?
ball. Had a ball.
It
We got
was
to
a
do that again.
Yeah,
yeah. We got
But
I have
you
a
have a
I have a
question, I
picture of
know.
that we're going to put up.
Oh, we have a picture?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I
what?
do too. I have a picture. We took pictures that night. Did we go to the Dirty?
We did take pictures.
We
We
might
did
have went
take
to the
pictures.
Dirty too.
Is it dirty
No, we didn't
restaurant?
go to the Dirty that night.
We went somewhere where we took a lot of pictures. No, we went
No,
to
we
Hash
talked
House.
about the dirty though.
Yeah,
We
but
went to
we
Hash
went to
House, but we
Absinthe
talked
and
about
we
the
took
dirty.
pictures there, and we took pictures at the LA Comedy Club.
For
But
those,
now,
Right.
before you ask questions and we get too busy, we have to bring out my number two son. Number two sounds awful. My problem child.
Well,
That's a
just adore.
compliment because he's adorable.
He's
You
so
know,
yummy.
yeah, he would get into more trouble than he does. He's just so damn cute.
He's
And
yummy.
he has a residency at Jimmy Kimmel's on Friday nights. Show those skills. He works with Lunel on Mondays and Tuesdays, and he's going to show you a little bit of himself on his video now.
Morning, famo. Good morning, famo. Yes. What up, Marshaverse? Skillz from the street. Just coming from Albertsons this morning. Um, I just had a situation where I thought they were talking about me, even though I know I wasn't stealing nothing. But I heard them over intercom saying security check such and such aisle, such and such aisle, and such and such aisle. And I was in all of such and such aisles. But when I got up to the front to pay for my stuff, because I was paying for my stuff, I'm not stealing. I seen a gentleman, older guy, leather coat on, with all type of stuff they were taking from up under his jacket. Well, he was taking it from up under his jacket because they weren't gonna let him out if he didn't take it from up under his jacket. And he was cursing them out as he was taking the stuff from up under the jacket, saying, "I don't want this shit anyway." Yes, you do, sir, because you was stealing it. And you know he was white because he was complaining that y'all caught him from stealing. But yeah, now I'm about to go eat me some breakfast.
Okay, Roz, say hi to my problem child, Skillz Hudson.
Hey,
Hi,
Roz.
baby. Hi, baby.
I'm glad y'all finally brought me in.
Yeah, we was trying to forget you. Yeah, but you know we can't.
Why was I not in the story that y'all just told?
Oh, that night.
Yeah, I don't remember why.
Yes, I wasn't invited or anything.
You probably
I
weren't even in
You weren't
town.
there.
You would have been if you would, because we was at the LA Comedy Club, and if you had been in town, you'd have been there.
You'd have been there. You were there. You weren't there, baby.
Well, I want to
Anyway,
say this before we go any farther. I want to say this for Roz, our practices and everything. Thank you, Roz, for coming on the show with us this week. All right.
you
You love
practiced that.
me,
You wrote
baby.
that and practiced that just for her. I know. I
Yes.
am touched.
Yeah.
You
I
love
am
me,
touched.
baby. I miss you too.
So, Stephen, you had a question burning on your tongue?
I would like to know,
Yes.
because I believe this came after I met you. I would like to know, how did In These Streets come to be? And I know you've probably explained this a million times, but I would love to hear this story from you.
Okay. Jennifer Lewis and I have been friends for 100 years, and
Yeah.
we were only 50, but we've been friends forever. Brandy, I did Chicago the musical with Brandy. Jennifer came to see the show, and she said to me and Brandy, they've been friends too. She said to me and Brandy, "Why don't y'all come over for dinner?" We said, okay. And the way Jennifer tells it is the bitches showed up and I didn't have no food. Wasn't true. I cooked a huge salmon with potatoes and corn and the whole shebang. I had champagne. Nobody drinks champagne but me. They don't drink. And thank God they don't drink. I'm really happy they don't drink. But we were sitting at the piano. Jennifer was at the piano. I was in the kitchen. Brandy disappeared. Jennifer has this massive house and Brandy disappeared. And Jennifer kept saying, where's the little girl? Where's the little girl? And I said, B, where you at? And she said, I'm in here. The energy's too big in there. So Jennifer said, just come on in here. You know how Jenny talk. Come on in here. So she came in and she said, what you doing? And she said, I was just thinking, because you know what's going on in these streets. And she said, in these streets? What you talking about in these streets? She said, wait a minute, I like that. And Jenny started playing these chords on the piano. And she said, okay, y'all come over here, let's write something. And we literally sat down and wrote In These Streets.
Okay.
That's the
Well,
whole
y'all
story.
go ahead.
But that's the whole story.
Who recorded it? Was that you that recorded it?
We all had our phones sitting up on the piano.
Yeah.
So we
they had a 3-camera setup.
3 cameras. There, girl, 3-camera action going on.
I know. So who directed?
But we had cameras, and Jenny wanted to post it that night, and Brandy said, "No, you can't post it tonight, Auntie, because you have to do it tomorrow morning because then everybody get up and they'll see it. If you post it tonight, it's gonna get lost." And we were like, "Oh, the little millennial, she knows some stuff." Okay,
Yeah.
So we posted it the next day, and it went viral. It's a phone where you can put it on your phone. I had it on my phone at once, and I was in a very quiet place, and I couldn't find my phone in my purse, and it was extremely loud. And when I finally found the phone, I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. And it just kept going and going. And I was like, okay, it's me. I did it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the blame and I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah. You had to
That
leave like
song,
this.
It's me.
Anyway.
that song is my spirit animal.
Well, it really applies to today, don't you think?
Oh, it absolutely
Okay.
I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Cause ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Shit. For what? Shit. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
well,
like
Miss Jennifer is everybody's friend. I know you said she was your friend. She's everybody's friend. I think I met
oh,
Jennifer,
Jenny.
yes, in like 1977, 76, because,
That's about the time I met her in 79.
yeah, it was
But
early
yeah,
on.
she is everybody's friend.
Yes. And
She's
I'm glad
everybody's
she's
auntie, and
okay.
I'm
She's had her share of adventure, and I'm glad
Ooh.
everything has worked out and she's
And she
okay.
tells the stories very well. As we said, if you tell it yourself, it takes the sting out. So she tells
Yeah.
the stories in both of her books. She mentioned me in one of her books. Well, not she mentioned me in both books, but yeah, that part.
Yeah. Well, I know Skillz has a question or two.
It's glad that y'all did post it that morning because I remember watching it right when I got up in the morning. I had rolled up some of the good weed that I always keep on deck, but
Holla.
I remember waking up and in them streets was on. I was ready. But okay, what I wanted to say is if you could sum up your career to this point in 2 words, what would that be?
Been blessed.
does.
Simply
Yeah.
been blessed.
Wow.
Yeah. Blessed.
Have
What's that song?
to
With
even
Fred.
add another word. Hallelujah.
I'm
Yes,
blessed.
I'm blessed.
Yes, well, we are blessed and we are very grateful that you are here and that you took time out of your evening
For
to
you,
spend it with us. And you're welcome to come back anytime if you happen to stop by. I have a friend who lives in Bali. So if you
uh,
get to Bali, stop by and say hi to him.
oh, I will get there. I'll holler at you and find out what the friend's name is. And
Okay. I know he would be thrilled.
I'll
But please come back again. And thank you so much for sharing your
thank
stories
you for having
and your
me
time with us.
and
Please,
sharing your sons with me.
anytime you shared your son with me.
I sure did.
Yeah, how's he doing?
He's good. He's real
Good,
good.
good.
He's real
I'm glad.
good.
And once,
Life.
like I said, we're gonna get in the car. I still got the same car. We're gonna get in the car
You
and
still
go.
got the same car.
Yes, I'm gonna drive
I
it till the
love
wheels fall off.
right. That's what you're supposed to do.
Now,
What you're
it ain't
supposed to
older
do.
than me, so it still goes. So we
Look,
good.
long as it go, it go.
It goes. Thank you again, and please come back.
I will.
Love
Bye,
you. All the
darlings.
best to you.
Adore you, baby.
Okay, good night. So wasn't that lovely?
It was
Does anybody?
amazing.
It
Yes,
was lovely. She's a
it's
lovely
amazing.
lady, and I admire and envy her on that world travel trip thing. What a wonderful thing to do. That's the whole point of life, is to chill like that. Whatever it is that makes you happy. You know, what a much better way to live than the way we do. Where everything is just out of reach that you want to do, and you still gotta hustle to try to get a little piece of it. Isn't it nice to be able to think that there might be a time where you can just do whatever the fuck you want?
Yeah. But the thing is, the interesting thing about Roz to me is that there are people who are real givers, and she is a giver just in her being.
Yeah.
And I really feel like when you can be a giver from your being, that's when you get everything. That's when life becomes so easy because you're so freely giving it away.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's just an absolute joy to be in the presence of. I admire her so much.
I was more drawn to the African Nigerian designs compared to ours, Western Met Gala styles. I mean, it's seeming like doing a little research on it. It seems like our styles are more like quick, just flashy, catch your eye, you know, trendy. Where when I went down that rabbit hole of what about watching the African cultures, is always like vibrant colors. Is which I love colors, if y'all know. So like
No.
those
Who?
colors
You?
and then the fabrics, you know.
Yes.
And Mom, wanted to say
Uh-huh.
this, that about the dandies that you were saying about, because I didn't, until found out about that in the Congo, that it was this group that they were like, they dressed like that, but they were like low income, but everybody in the surroundings treated them like gods, like treated them, because how they dressed. And they would
Right.
bring them in to like when they would have people from out of the country, diplomats, they would bring them in as like a you know the word I'm trying to get to.
Dignitaries. You
Diplomat? Is it
combine
diplomat or
dignitaries
diplomat?
and diplomats together,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm sure you meant dignitaries, but that's cool. We
yeah, that,
understood.
that.
That's
Okay.
the beauty of language, and especially I find African American vernacular English. We find ways to repurpose words to combine words till they make more sense than they did before. And so, diplomaries, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all.
No, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to use
It's
that in my
like my love
comedic
affair,
theology.
with Skillz. It's a bromance.
It's a bromance, and that's what did you call him? Your process. Oh, he calls you
Yeah, he calls me his brosis.
his process. Did you
That
ever
sounds
ask
like a
permission to try to call him brosis?
it sounds like
Famo.
a virus. I've got
Ha.
brosis.
He says it sounds like a virus. I got a bad case of
Nah, you
brosis.
my bro said.
What did you
Y'all not
think
saying it
of
right.
the Met Gala
It's
versus
it's
the
it's bro
Nigerian
sis.
fashion, Stephen?
You know what? I thought that the Met Gala one was very Billy Porter esque. That when Billy Porter several years ago started coming out in a dress with very tailored jackets that went with the dress, and you saw through this dandy perspective how the squared off shoulders and the very 40s type jackets, and Janelle Monáe being one of the best examples of that, among others, that it really looked like they're still exploring this gender question, which I think it's time to move on, actually. But it reminded me a lot of Billy Porter. Then looking at the African pageantry,
Hmm.
I thought that the women's dresses were very traditional as far as form fitting pageant gowns go. I thought that they were very traditional with lots of embellishments. And I thought, well, they haven't, I don't see a lot of progression there either. And then I looked at the men's outfits, and the men's outfits look like Billy Porter. There was this one guy all in black with an elephant on the skirt, and the skirt goes way, way, way out. It looked very much like Billy Porter's outfits from 5 to 6 years ago. So I felt like it was a bit of, we're not through with this conversation of gender bending and exploration of trans and uh, just what is gender. We're not done with that conversation.
Well, no, we're not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But what impressed me so much about the Nigerian fashions, especially being that they were representative of Mother Nature. I
Yeah.
felt very viscerally attached to or attracted to what they represented. Each one right away, I'm like, that's the ocean. That's the tree of life. That's and the tree of life. She looked like she was growing out of the floor. She looked like she was rooted in the earth and her hair and I mean I just thought it was uh,
And then there's one with all safety pins. Did you see
the
that one?
safety pins, that one too. I mean all of the one like I said, the ocean is the stars, the woman standing there looking like the freaking galaxy,
Yeah,
and
and then you take safety pins and you make them look of the earth. That's
and you make them look
mind
like
blowing.
jewels. They just
Shit,
I thought I was
3 million.
like I said, I
Three.
was very viscerally drawn to the Nigerian fashions and the elegance that I saw. I just thought they were really, really regal and hell, worth talking about for an hour. But anyway, I think we've had a full conversation, have we not?
It's been great.
So I am
Hey, one last thing though about
okay. Honey.
the coochie breather, mama.
The coochie breather. Okay,
I'm
what
glad
about
that I got a chance to see that because I totally agree with that, and that's why I don't have on drawers during this taping.
Okay, so you letting
But
your
you don't have a
coochie breathe?
coochie.
You letting your coochie breathe? Hello?
True,
He's
true,
Are
but I
you let?
have balls that get constricted when I'm, you know what I'm saying. And then sometimes, my girl, Christy, she likes my underwear a little bit more fitting. But being that I've seen that, I was like, you know what? I'm letting mine breathe tonight, and I
Okay,
love it.
let it breathe. It's
I'm
such a nice night. It might as well stay out.
I'm
Uh,
I
it,
mean, this cracking in the seat is kind of cutting me, but
well,
oh
on that
boy.
note, thank you so much for the visual that I have to go wash my eyes out with bleach. So never see
sorry.
that again. It's okay. You did just your balls stuck to your seat. You know, a mother knows these things. Anyway, thank you all so much, and I will look for you, Skillz. Are you going? Where are you going besides show those skills and Lunel?
The 30th and the 31st, I will be in Chicago at Riddle's Comedy Club.
That's a nice place. Damon still got it.
He's turned it over to this. He's turned it over to this comic named Stick from Chicago.
Okay. Well, it was nice when I was there and had my Chicago brethren who I loved. And speaking of them, before I get to you, Stephen, uh, Dilla is doing hella good. His saying everything dope comes from Chicago. They use that to announce the Pope. I mean, he's Mr. Chicago, and I am so happy for him. David's book is doing well. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I haven't even picked it up. He sent it to me, and I've been too scattered to go get it. But I want everybody to get it because it's doing well, and he deserves to be recognized. And my young friend Danielle McLaughlin, I just adore him, and I expect to see really him change the conversation about empowerment and deconstruction and finding your indigenous African spirituality that we all, those of us of the diaspora, have. And on that note, Stephen.
I'm going to
Oh,
be feeding the homeless on
hey,
Saturday.
y'all.
No.
Oh,
Um,
now, do you ever feel like it? No, really. Do you ever feel like our redheaded stepchild?
no. I don't
Good.
feel like your redheaded stepchild. I feel like uh, the neighbor sometimes
Ah,
that was invited to the cookout.
Mr.
And,
Roper.
and
You're our Mr. Roper.
why do I have to be Mr. Roper? Why can't I be Mrs.
Gladys
Kravitz or
Kravitz.
something like that?
I was gonna
You
Yeah.
want to
say
be Gladys Kravitz? What neighbor would you want to be?
Um, well, I think that I would want to be your neighbor,
Ah,
or or who's the guy on Tool Time where you only see his face?
I don't
He's the
know. Did
neighbor
he
on
have a
the
name?
Tim. I don't think he did. He was just the neighbor. Tim Allen's show.
Yeah, Tool
No,
Time.
I don't
Well,
want to
that
be
wasn't Tool Time.
anonymous.
It was, what was the name of that show? I don't remember.
I don't know. I didn't like it. So,
It was a little macho, hey?
a little macho, a little Tool Timey.
Yeah.
I will be at Roastalmania 6 on May 24th, battling Joe Calise. Come and see me there.
Okay.
And you can also see me I'll be doing Jimmy Kimmel's twice, one at 6 o'clock that same day and one at 11:30.
Okay. You're gonna have a long
Yeah.
break in between. You're gonna have
I have a
dinner.
big,
Want to have dinner that
yeah,
night?
let's do. Let's do.
Okay. Well,
Hey, we should remind everybody to give to the Black heritage museums throughout our
the
country.
African American history museums are in trouble now. They're being defunded, and I am such a big fan of them. They keep our history alive, and anything that keeps our history alive is precious to me. And I want anyone who can to do everything they can to preserve as much history as possible, whether it's making a donation, whether it's writing your family story down. If you have, your history and you can trace it and you're willing to share it, that's really valuable information. We need as many of those stories as we can to hear what people actually said, what they actually thought, how they actually felt, without interference from other people, because a lot of the history we have came through people who didn't understand the culture they were being introduced to. And so a lot of things that were said to them either triggered them and they wanted them changed. No, we're not that bad people. Yeah, yeah, you are. And or they tried to make it palatable. And I'm talking about when your grandparents tell you their stories, raw, emotional, and a lot of times just matter of fact. Just the matter of factness of them can be harrowing. So record them, write them down, keep them, and share them. A lot of museums really want that information. So uh, let's preserve our history. And the Jim Crow Museum they've broken ground on their new building, and it's coming along. And we need to make sure that the artifacts and things at the African American History Museum and all of the other heritage sites and museums are treated as special and precious as they are. And on that note, I'd like to leave you with the last word, which we will give to my friend Chokai Calicoa. I call him, he calls himself a Papa Witch. He's a bit of a shaman, and he's also an activist. And in this video that we're going to leave you with, he's going to share some history that needs to be remembered. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I would look forward to spending time with you again next week. And we're going to have a special guest next week that I think you're going to enjoy. We've got some pretty good people lined up in the coming week. So stay tuned. We're going to share some laughs, some love, some history, some lessons. Come back again. Leave us a note. Tell us how much you love us. We appreciate that. Bye.
Here we go again, guys. We're back in the saddle today. Working it out, getting ready for the Age Lifecycle ride, which started off as the car ride, California Age ride back in the day. This is a really, really powerful time, guys. This is the last one. A lot of things come up for me with this thing. It was always joyous and beautiful and awful and terrible, depressing, inspiring, brings up memories of so many people we've lost. So many people have lost so many people. It brings up how f***ed up our government was, how awful families were to their own people, how terrible churches were, how awful, awful humans showed their horrific human self. And at the same time, there were humans in the thick of it all who actually stepped up and were good human beings. Were human beings who gave a shit. Human beings who actually fought for dignity, for the right to exist. This was a really powerful time then. Not everybody made it. And those of us who did, we carry a lot of memories. As I mentioned, a lot of people lost a lot of people, and right now it's kind of a bittersweet. I don't even know if that really covers it, but it's a trippy thing, this being the last Age Life Cycle event. So if you'd like to help out with the donation, please do. If you just want to take a moment and send some good vibes, if you're a praying kind of person, throw a prayer up. If you're an energy worker, throw some good energy. If you've got $1 or $2 or $3 or 20 or 100, throw it in the mix. It all goes to a good cause. So if you have any questions, just DM me. It's another beautiful day out here, and we're doing the damn thing, as they say. What the heck? Oh, where is that? Oh, there it goes. It sounded like it was right over my head, and it kind of was. Alrighty, and then a nice bird has flown onto the water. Not sure what that is from here. Oh, it's a seagull. Anywho, ADD.com. I love you guys, and yeah, hit me up if you have any questions about the ride, what's going on. I'll be here in Scotland until a few days before the ride, then I'm heading to San Francisco. If you're in San Francisco, let's plan a meetup. Let's do a hookup. Let's do let's do pizza or something. Go out for a few pints, whatever the hell. I would love to see y'all. If I don't see you in San Francisco, I'll see you when we arrive in LA. I'll be in town for a little bit before popping off to Mexico. So let's figure a time to meet. Give me a shout. As you can tell, I'm just kind of rambling on right now because I'm loving this view right here. I'm just going to hang out here and probably have a little snack and then be on my way. So anyway, I love you guys. Stay in touch. Drop a donation. Do what you can, whatever you can. It's much appreciated and very much valued and needed. Your donations help a lot.
She got away, no one can do it like that. Her own style, no one can wear that hat. Hey, don't you know that the queen is back? She's back, she's back. She withstands the test of time. When it comes to strength, she comes to mind. Knock her down, she gets back.